Hey everyone, I'm Sarah Fortson. We're going to go ahead and get started. We may have some more people joining us. I know we had more than this many that registered. Again, this is a repeat of the training that we did back in February. So very cool. If you want to just get a refresher and you're back on, no problem at all. I just wanted to let y'all know this was for anyone that missed it in February. But I'm Sarah. I have been with SCCHWA since October and just wanted to introduce myself. I do some of the financials for the association, and I deal with special projects, and I'm helping with some credentialing items as well. So it's very nice to meet all of y'all, and thank y'all for coming on today. Today's lessons will be geared towards more of a beginner type experience, so just keep that in mind. I know some of you may already have some experience using Excel, but maybe you'll learn something you weren't sure about before. All right. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. If you do have questions, please feel free to just interrupt me. I'm not sure if I will have someone that's going to be able to monitor the chat for me, and I may not see it. So just feel free to interrupt me. I don't mind at all. I'm going to share my screen. All right. All right, I'm Sarah again. This is our first session for this week, and then tomorrow we'll have our session 2. We'll dive a little bit deeper tomorrow into some things. Let's just talk about some of the fundamentals and some of the basics of Microsoft. What do we use it for? A lot of people use it to help them store data in a more organized way. There is an immense amount of data that can go into a workbook or a spreadsheet, as you'll hear it called, within Excel. So there's various ways that you can store it in there and analyze it and get it organized the way it's for you to be able to get the information that you're looking for. You have the ability to manipulate data through mathematical functions. Excel acts very similar to a calculator, so it'll calculate items for you automatically. And then we have the ability to extract data and represent the information using graphs and charts. It will take some data that you have, and it will just automatically create a pie chart or a bar chart, whatever you want for that visualization of your data. And that's how powerful Excel can be. I just want to talk about a couple of the things that you'll hear over and over as we go through today. The cell address, and I know this is very basic, but just want to make sure everyone knows the cell address or cell name is the intersection of a column and row in Excel. So for example, the cell address B3 is located at the intersection of column B and row 3. So if you were to go over here to this little snippet here, we want to find cell address or cell name B3. You'd go over here to column B, and then we're going to go down to row 3. And this cell right here represents cell B3, right there. Okay, and then let's say that this whole block of yellow represents a range of selected cells. They call it a range, and they start with the cell name that starts in the very top left corner, which is A2, and then it covers all of this stuff all the way down to this very bottom right corner, and that's E14. And it's represented in Excel by A2 colon E14. So just to give you an idea, that's how we call a range in Excel. And then another thing that you'll see a lot of is the toolbar ribbon and the formula bar down here. The formula bar here is in the white, and it has that little FX right here. That's where you'll see some of the formulas that you input into the cells that calculate something for you, kind of like a calculator. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up Excel. I've got a training data sheet for us, and we're going to start here. All right, so One thing some people may not know is if you want to type into a cell, you can click on that cell, select it, and you can start typing anything you want to. Let's say we want to say hello or something. You can start typing and then press enter to get out of that cell, or you can press up, down, left, right, however you want to. But if you press enter, it's always going to go to the next cell underneath. If you press tab, it's going to go to the next one to the right of that cell. If you wanted to, let's say, when you come in this cell, let's say you wanted to fix this word. You weren't trying to say hello. You were just trying to say hey or something. You can start typing over that, and it'll automatically take away that word hello. If you did not mean to do that, you can press escape while you're in the cell, and then it'll come back to what you had it on. If you just wanted to edit this, like let's say it was spelled it was spelled wrong, you can double click in the cell and the cursor will show up to where you can just use your backspace and type as you normally would. Okay. All right, so let's start with typing some data in. I'm going to start doing a sequence of numbers, 1, and then press enter, 2, enter, 3, 4, and let's say I've got a bunch of lines that I'm going to add, and I just want it to keep going into sequential order, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so forth. Instead of typing it into each cell, which could take a lot of time if you have 50 lines of data, let's say, you can go to your last one that you typed in, hover over this little square in the bottom right-hand corner until you get this black cross sign here. When you get that, click on your mouse and hold it, and then drag down, and you'll see that little 5 that starts to appear right beside it. That means that it's going to copy that 5 all the way down instead of doing what we want it to do, which is sequentially keep going 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Your computer might do the opposite. It just depends on, sometimes Excel is funny. But if we want it to keep going with 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, let's let go of that. Let's hover over it again. Hold your mouse and then click Control or CTRL on your keyboard. Hold it down as you're dragging, and then you'll see it starts to do 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and you can just keep dragging and let go of your mouse, and it formulates those numbers into those cells for you. So that was a quicker way to do it instead of typing it out individually. All right, we're going to put some headers on here, and I'm going to show you a couple more things. I'm going to do hourly rate, hours worked, and gross wages. All right, see how you can't see all of these headers, like all the words in each one. So you know this says employee name, but you can't see it within that cell. You can see it up here in the formula bar, but you want to see it. You want to be able to see it on your spreadsheet. There's a few ways for you to be able to adjust your column width. You can do it manually by just going up to each column. You just go up here. When you hover over it, it'll come up with a cross sign with 2 arrows in each direction, left and right. When you get that, click on your mouse and then pull it to the right or left, whichever way you want. Let go. And then now you can see the entire header name for you. Instead of doing that for each column that we want to be able to see everything for, there's a quicker way.
Is that so weird?
Go ahead. Hello? Did someone have a question? We're good? Okay. Sorry, guys. My volume was up and it scared me. Anyways, a quicker way to get your width for all of these to show your headers, you can hover over the top here of the column and where you get a down arrow, and then click your mouse. So you're selecting it and you're holding your mouse and dragging. And let's say we want it to open up the column width for these 4 columns, right? Then you let go of your mouse. You can hover over any of these intersections where these columns meet, where you get the cross with the 2 arrows, and double click. And now it adjusts each one for you to where you can see the headers. All right. Let's see. Let's say you wanted to align. So you can change the alignment of each of these headers if you wanted to. Let's say you wanted an employee name to be in the middle of this cell rather than to the left alignment. You can go up here and you can click this center button, or you can go over here to merge and center. Yours might actually say the words merge and center. This toolbar is a little more condensed. You can click that, and then it just automatically centers employee name within that cell. All right. We are going to go into this spreadsheet here where we have some data already entered. And let's say that we forgot to add the headers for this data. We don't know what this represents. So you can insert a row before on top of Billy and 15 and 20 so that we can add a header. You hover over the row that you want to insert one above, and then you click your mouse, and then so we're selected the row by clicking the mouse, and then we right click and go to insert, and now it has inserted a row above there for you. So I'm going to type some headers for us so we can, and I'm pressing tab to go over hourly rate, tab, hours worked, gross wages, taxes to be paid, and then over here I'm going to do a tax rate of 7%. Okay, and again I want to be able to see all my headers, so I'm going to just select all the rows with headers in it, and then again on any of these intersections you can double click. You can even do it on the end here, so now we can see our headers. Let's say that everyone here that's listed at making $19 an hour this year will be getting an increase to $20 an hour next year. And pretend you've got a lot more data than this. This is useful when there is a lot of data. We want to replace anyone that has 19 over here with the number 20. So a couple ways you can do this. You can go to over here to this magnifying glass, and you can click Find, or you can click Replace. Either one of those will send you to the same screen. So let's click Find, and you'll see you have the same options here, Find or Replace. So we want to actually find 19, and we want to replace any 19s within the spreadsheet with the number 20. So let's do Replace, and it'll say Find what? And we'll put 19 here, and it says Replace with 20. And then you can click Find All, and you can see where those cell names or cell values show where the 19s fall. So there's only 2, Michael at 19 and Alicia at 19. It's just showing you where those exist. You just have to, when you're doing something like this, just be careful, because someone that has hours worked listed at 19, it could get changed to 20. So if you know for a fact that no one's worked 19 hours and it's not going to affect that, then you're fine. You can replace one at a time by just selecting Replace, or you can do Replace All. And so I know these are good to go. I want to replace them. I replace all. And it says all done. We made 2 replacements, and press OK. And then now you can see that Michael has 20 and Alicia also has 20. All right.
I'm sorry, could you show me again where find and replace is?
Yes, it should be up here. It should be like a magnifying glass. If you do not have this on your toolbar, you can also look, it might even say the word find or replace, but you could also click, hold CTRL control on your keyboard and click Control F as in Frank, and it'll pull that up for you as well.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, now let's dive in a little bit on how we do formulas in Excel and have it treat it like as though it's a calculator. Let's say we want to calculate gross wages. We know that that is going to be the hourly rate times the hours worked. Always, when you go into your cell that you're putting the data into, and always start with the equal sign. So we're going to type equals, and then I'm going to select the data that I want it to multiply by. So B2, which is B2, the number 15, and you'll see it come up here as well. Asterisk, that asterisk represents multiplication in Excel. And then select C2. So we've got it up here as well. It's showing over here. Press enter, and then it will calculate 15 times 20 for you to equal the gross wages of $300. Let's say we want to, we could go and do this same formula in every single one of these boxes, but it could take a lot of time if you're dealing with 100s of, line items, which we're not in this case, but you could be. So you can copy this formula down, and what this formula says is it's a relative formula. It's saying Excel thinks you want to multiply the left two boxes, the boxes to the left of this, by each other. That's what it thinks, okay? So hover over this little square in the corner again and get your black cross sign and click that and drag it down while you're still holding your mouse and let go of your mouse, and then it calculates for you. Another way you can do that, I'm going to press undo. Another way you can do that is if you just hover over here and you get the plus mark again, and then just double click, and it will think that that's what you want it to do, is copy that formula down. So you'll see this starts with B2 times C2, and then you go up here. You can see B3 times C3, and so forth. B4 times C4, and it is doing what we want it to do. All right, here is where we're going to try to calculate taxes to be paid, which we know is gross wages times the tax rate. This is where we are going to, instead of a relative cell reference, we're going to call it an absolute cell reference. So you press equals always for your formulas. You click D2 because we want to do gross wages and we want to times it by the 7%. So do an asterisk. Click H1, and that's correct. And press enter. And that's calculating how much taxes they need to pay on these wages. If you were to copy this down the way we did this other column, it would not copy the way we wanted to, because it thinks we want to take the cell to the left and multiply it by the cell that's the corresponding cell to the right. So if we were to copy this down to this one, it thinks that we want to do D3. Sorry, it thinks we want to do D3 times H2. So it's going to keep going underneath this 7% if we were to drag it down. See what I mean? So instead of doing that, we want it to reference the 7%. We want it to reference the 7% every time. So start with your original formula and go up here in the formula bar And H1 needs to be an absolute cell reference because we always want it to look at H1 with this formula specifically. Add a $sign before the H and a $sign after the H. Press enter. It still calculates to 21, which was what we had. But when you copy the formula down, you'll see that it's coming up with numbers now because when you look at this one, it's taking D3, 204 times that H1, and so forth. It's going to continue holding that H1, but it's going to change that relative cell reference, that first one. You can see here too. All right. I have a little tickle in my throat. All right, let's talk about if we wanted to get the sum or if we want to just total something up. So let's say we want to get the total hours worked here. There's a function in Excel called sum. So you would do your equal sign, start typing SUM. You'll see all these other ones that show up, but the normal sum, just the total that you want to get is going to be your sum. All these other ones are different functions within Excel. So there's a lot of stuff in Excel that you can use, but we'll just do the basics. These are some of the most popular ones. You'll do a parentheses, and then we want it to sum up all of these numbers. So I'm going to select, and then I'm going to hold my mouse and drag it down to all the numbers that I want it to add up. Do a close parentheses, and then press enter. And then there is the total hours worked. If you were to select the cell and drag it down, you can also check to make sure this is the right sum. If you were to look down here, it tells you the sum of those numbers, 237.25, as well as the count of how many line items you've got, and then the average. Another popular one is the average function. Do equals, and then start typing average, parentheses, same thing, select and drag down, close parentheses, and then enter. And then you wanted, let's say you wanted to see the lowest number here and the highest. So they're called min and max, minimum and maximum. So equals min, parentheses, same thing, select those, closed, and 15 is the minimum number here, which is correct. It looks like it's the lowest number of all of those. And then equals max, parentheses, select your numbers, and then close parentheses. And you don't you don't have to always put the close parentheses. Excel will think that it knows what you want to do. It's just best practice to put your close parentheses. And it says 30 is the maximum number listed in this list of numbers, which is right. We can also sort data and filter it. So if you were to just click on, highlight the headers here and go to this little button here. It looks like a little funnel, but yours actually may say filter on your screen. Again, this is a condensed ribbon. So click on that, go to filter, and you'll see these little drop downs came up on these headers. If you wanted to, let's say you only wanted to see people that made $15 an hour, go to your drop down right here and deselect, select all right here and only select 15 and press OK. And now it's condensed it to where you can only see the people making $15 an hour. You can go back here to fix that. Just click that and click select all, and everything will come selected again. And it'll show back on your screen. You can also sort data. I'm going to open this up a little bit so we can see all the headers. And then when you sort, you can I like to select the headers and the data. You don't have to. It's just I want to make sure it keeps the right data with the right person. So then I right click and go to sort. I usually do custom sort. You can do sort A to Z and it'll assume you want to sort A to Z employee name probably. But if you did custom sort, you can choose sort by, I want it to sort by employee name. And then you could also add a level, like if the, say you, and then you wanted it to sort by, I don't know, hours worked maybe. It may not make sense for this set of data, but it could be very useful for other sets of data. And you press OK, and then you'll see that it takes all the numbers that were associated with those people and moves it alphabetically and by the hourly rate that we chose. All right. I'm going to give everyone just a few minutes to work on the first 6 of the practice exercises. Hopefully all of y'all received it beforehand, before the training, either yesterday or this morning. But yes, just work on the first 6, and then we will get back to it and we'll go over it together.
Miss Sarah,
Yeah.
did you say the first 6?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. All right, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and go over the first 6 with y'all so that we're not short on time. All right, for the data to the left, adjust all column widths so that all the data is visible. So we're just going to go up here and hover over the columns that we want to adjust the column width for. Select and drag it. We'll just do this one. Okay, and then let go of my mouse, and then I'm going to hover over any of these and double click. And there we go. We can see everything that's in all of these cells. Merge and center the words annual conference at the top. We want annual conference to be in the center of all of these headers, right? And I don't know, we actually probably didn't go over the merge part of actually merging cells into one. But if you click on annual conference and you hold your mouse and drag it to select all of these above the headers, and then you just go up here to merge and center, click that. And then now it has merged all of these cells that they were like several different cells. Now it's just one cell and it's centered annual conference. All right, sort the data by organization and then by member status. So I'm going to select my headers and my data underneath. Right click and go to sort, custom sort. We want to sort by organization first, and we're going to add a level, and we're going to sort by member status. And we're fine with A to Z. So press OK. And now we've got everyone from DHEC and their member status, members versus non-members below. Everything is sorted the way we wanted to see it. And all of this data is made up, by the way. So in cells F33 and G33 respectively, calculate the total quantity and the total cost. So let's go down here to F33. And we want the total quantity. So equals sum, parentheses, and I'm going to select all of this data, drag, close parentheses, and enter. And then we've got 94 tickets sold. Same thing here for the cost, equals sum. Select your data, close parentheses, and press enter. And we have $940 sold. Okay, in cell F34, calculate the max quantity. So here I'm in F34, equals MAX, max. Select our data, close parentheses, and press enter. Sorry. All right, that was 10 was the maximum number of tickets sold in that. And lastly, in cell F35, calculate the average quantity. Equals average, parentheses, select your data, and close parentheses, and press enter. And that's our average. All right, that's the first 6. Let's start. We're going to talk about a little bit about modifying cell content and creating basic charts. We're going to do some formatting as well. Let's go back to this data sheet and say we want this to look a little nicer. All we see right here is just numbers, and maybe we'll want this to like represent currency or like dollar signs, and maybe we want these hours worked to be kind of in line. So we want all of these to show 2 decimal places or something. So first, let's go with the currency. on hourly rate, we can select all the ones that we want to format, or we can start with the one. So let's start with 20. Right click and go to Format Cells right here. And here you can see it's just a general category now, but we can change that to currency. And so over here, it shows you what it would look like. So you can choose how many decimal places you want it to go out. We just want to, and then it shows whether or not you want $sign. You can also do none if you wanted to, or if you're working in different currencies, you can choose a different currency, but we want a $sign. Press OK. And then now that has 2 decimal places and a $sign. Let's say we want this format for all of these below. An easy way to do that is you can be on the cell that you want to copy the formatting and go to this Format Painter. You hover over it and click it. Now it has selected that cell as if that's the cell that you want to copy down as far as the formatting goes. Now you can click in whatever cell that you want to copy the formatting, and you can drag it too. So let's click and drag and then let go of our mouse. And then now it shows all of that as a currency with 2 decimal places. Another way you can do it, let's say we want all these hours worked to be just a number with 2 decimal places. I'm going to just go ahead and select all of the data that I want to change, and then right click and go to Format Cells. We want it to be a number with 2 decimal places. It's already got it set up for us. Let's press OK. And now all of them are numbers with 2 decimal places. Just makes it look a little neater, a little more pleasing to the eye when you're looking at data. Let's say you want to, make these headers look a more, accentuated, and you want them to be more bold. You can highlight the headers, and then to go to bold up here, and it'll bold this text. You can go over here and change the background color. So let's say we want to like gray. So then those stand out more. So now we're kind of like have a better looking chart. If we're in this data over here, and say you've got like pages and pages of like information, and you're scrolling and you're not really even sure what this represents anymore because you lost your headers because they're way up top. One way you can fix that is you go to, so I want this to still show when I'm scrolling, right? Go to the row underneath where you want the row to continue to show. So we want to hover over 3 and just click your mouse, and it selects that row. Then you go to View up here and do Freeze Panes, and click Freeze Panes. Now, when you scroll, that header information stays. So if you were just, if you had a bunch of data, it's very helpful that when that stays in place. To undo that, you can just go back here. Actually, you don't even have to click anything. You can just go back over here to Freeze Panes and do Unfreeze, and then it goes away. So when you scroll, it's not there anymore.
So you hover over the line below what you want to freeze.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Got it.
Okay, now we're going to just look at how to create a basic chart. If you've got some information that you want to see, that you want it to be more visually, pleasing to the eye. I've got some regions here that I've chosen, and we've got 2023 cells. And we're going to select our header and the information underneath it. And then we want to see it in a chart format, like it could be a pie chart, a bar graph, whatever. When you've got that selected, go to Insert. And then over here, it's going to have various charts you could choose from, recommended charts. But I like to just click down here in this little arrow that points down, and this window pops up. This will just start on the recommended charts, but I'm going to go to All Charts. And here you can figure out, do you want a line graph, a pie graph, or a bar chart? You can choose whichever one you want here to make it where you can see the information better. We'll keep it on the column chart for now because we're just doing basics, but I kind of like this one because it shows, when I hover over it, it pops out at me and it shows different colors. So I kind of like that, the way that looks. So I'm going to click that. So I'm going to say this is the one I want to use. So press OK. And then it just took all this information and put it into this chart here for us. You can edit this chart by adding, you can go in here and add a chart title. You can go to this little plus sign here. You can add axis titles. So if you click that, you can name these axes to whatever you want. You can do data labels, so that puts a number with your bar chart. And you can just do all kinds of different things and customize it the way you want to. So that's one way to just do a very basic chart in Excel. And then lastly, we're just going to go over a little bit about printing and you know, like sometimes when you go and you say file and you go to print, you see this is 2 pages because it doesn't have all the columns listed on this front page, and that's not how you want it to look when it prints out, right? So, because if you were to go to the second page, it's just like, oh, there's the notes, but we want it all on one page so it looks nicer. You can just go down here to this where it says no scaling and click on fit all columns on one page. And when you do that, now it shows the notes column here and it shows all the other ones. But then this might be kind of small, like for you to see when you print it. So you can always change the orientation to landscape here. And you can see it's still one page, but like you can see it kind of more better. And then you can print it from here. And you can also save it as a PDF from here. It'll save the way that you saved it in your print view.
If we wanted to leave the lines in there, how do we do that? Have you done that already? Have you showed us that?
You mean like these grid lines?
Yes, ma'am, correct.
Hang on one sec. Let me just make sure before I tell you. I've done this before, but it's been a minute. Let me see. Oh, there it is. So let's go back. Go to your print screen, go to page setup, and then go to sheet. And then right here where it says print, click your grid lines here where you've selected that and press OK. And then now it's got your grid lines showing. That's good. Good question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So that was it. What I want y'all to do is work on the last 5 of the practice exercises. We'll do them together, and then I'll answer any other questions we might have.
Is there a way that we could get the instructions on how to do each of them for those of us that are a little bit slower in learning this?
Yes. We are recording this, so is it helpful for you to have the recording so that you can go back and kind of look at the way we did it, or what's the easiest way for you?
Yeah, I can do that. I can take notes that way.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely have this available for y'all for after we're finished.
Would it be available on the website, or you're going to email it in?
I'm not sure. Rashad is going to help me. I think we're going to put it somewhere in the professional development part of the website, but I do not know. I'll have to get with Rashad on that. I'm sorry. We will let you know for sure, though.
Yes, we're going. You're right, Sarah. We're going to put it on the professional development section of the website. We'll send out notice when that is completed.
Thank you. All right, let's do the last 5 real quick. All right, format the data in column F as a number with 2 decimal places. So I am just going to select all of the data here in column F and right click and go to format cells and we were going to do as a number for 2 decimal places. We'll press OK, and that looks great. And then we said format the data in column G as currency with 2 decimal places and a dollar sign symbol. I'm going to highlight this information, right click and click format cells, go to currency. We've got the dollar sign and 2 decimal places, so we're good to go there. We press OK, and then there we go. Then freeze rows to where rows 1 and 2 stay visible when scrolling down. We go right here to the row below the ones that we want to stay. So click that row, go to View, freeze panes again, and then now when we scroll, we can see the top 2 rows. All right, this one's a little bit tricky. In the total cost column, starting in cell G3, remove the original data and insert a formula that absolute references the ticket price located at the top. Multiply that by the quantity to get the total cost. Copy that formula down to G32, and there's a hint, don't forget the dollar sign. So this is an absolute reference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all of this. So I'm just going to highlight it, and then I'm going to press delete on my keyboard. Everything's gone. We're going to start with equals. We want the quantity multiplied, so we did an asterisk, times this ticket price, right? J1. But we want it to where we can, if we were to copy this down, we want it to always reference J1. So remember, we go to J1, the dollar sign before the J and after the J. That's an absolute reference. Press enter. All right, it calculated correctly. But now when we bring it down, we want to make sure it calculates using that same $10. And when we look, it still references J1, but it takes this quantity right here. Same with this one, takes F5 times J1. So that's an absolute reference. And then filter the data to only show non-members. I'm going to just highlight the headers here and go to the home button right here in the little funnel where it says filter. Go to filter. And we want to see only non-members, so go to member status, drop down, unselect, select all, and then only click non-member and press OK. And now we only see the non-members showing. All right, so that was it. Like I said, we did record this. Does anyone have any other questions before we go? I did share my contact information on the chat, so please feel free to call me or email me and with any questions regarding this. And then tomorrow we will be digging just a little bit deeper into some of the like more advanced stuff in Excel, but nothing too crazy. Just some things that you might find helpful. But yeah, any questions?
Sarah, is your contact information also in the email?
Let me check on that. I don't think it is. It is not in the email about the exercises. Rashad, is there a way for you to email everyone that signed up for today my contact information, or is that too difficult?
No, I can do that. This is your Microsoft account, right?
This is.
Yeah. So we just take the log from this account, like from the meeting. I could email everybody your contact information.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
Just thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thanks to everybody for joining today. Hope to see y'all tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.